Good morning, Seawolves, and welcome to the show. In about 15 minutes, we're going to have the arrival in Le Havre, but we also have the images of the actual finishes of both Isabelle, Jean, and of course Conrad Coleman. So I just wanted to start the show off today, of course, by having a toast and watching the handsome trio finish. Hope you have something delicious in your cup. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Cheers, Wolves. To an amazing finish. Definitely three of our most popular skippers finishing today. Or, well, they have all three finished, of course. But cool to see that they're going to be arriving today.
Pour l'arrivée de Jean Le Cam, tout commence en Finistère. Armor Luxe, bravo Jean.
So there we can see earlier today, or tonight really, the beautiful lights of Le Havre. And Jean Le Cam coming in on his now legendary Tout commence à Finistère. Means everything starts in Finistère, which is of course the famous cape that you have to pass both at the start and the finish of the Vendeeglobe. And look at him coming in there. Last turn for the finish line. His team coming on board.
Vas-y, on serre un peu. Ça hyper bien le bonhomme. On peut serrer un peu les gars. Alexis, on peut serrer.
Jean's seventh time. Hard to imagine.
Serre un peu Alexis.
But finishing again safely. And yeah, the boat has been amazing. I mean, for a non-foiler, if it had not been for his J2 stay problems, because he had to, of course, improvise his stay, so he's been severely hampered as far as power for the most part, pretty much the last quarter or so of the race. But if that had not happened, there is a good chance that he would have finished somewhere around maybe like 12th or 13th or 14th. So absolutely amazing. He would have been no contest the number one daggerboard boat in the fleet. So of course now Benjamin Fair took that position, but that was really due to the damage that he sustained. So yeah, pretty cool to see. Here we can see a little shot of the boat in full flight taken before the race, of course. Now let's hop on to the arrival of Isabelle Joschke. She also arrived tonight. And they all decided, because she was actually in time to enter the channel still tidewise yesterday, but they all decided to wait for the morning light, I guess, to enter the channel, you know, give the crowds a chance to not do it in the middle of the night. I think a smart decision. And Isabelle, of course, also major damage, broke off one of her foils. You can see it here actually. See a little bit of the damaged foil still sticking out. So the second boat without one foil finishing in this particular race. Yeah, there she is.
Avance. Top pour Isabelle Joschke. Et la marche Steph. Bravo Isabelle.
And interesting to know that Isabelle was actually not thinking about doing the Vendeeglobe again after the last time. She kind of said as much, that she wouldn't do it again. But after about a year, I guess, seeing many of the others prepare again, she started to feel that she might regret not doing it again. She did feel that this would be maybe her last chance to do it again. And so she decided to go and eventually entered the race again. And so, yeah, she must feel pretty happy having finished it now again. Team coming on board. It's interesting, almost historic, that the skippers have to wait a night in situations like this for the tides to enter. We have actually in Holland here in Amsterdam an island called Pampas, and having to wait to enter the city for a long time has actually become a Dutch expression where the name of this island called Pampas is used. So people say, I'm laying before Pampas in Dutch. Ik lig voor Pampas. Means that you cannot do anything, that you have to wait, that you're kind of stuck. Maybe because you're sick or because you're waiting for something or because you're tired. But this comes from the history. Yeah, so far the arrival of Joschke. This comes from the history of sailors having to wait near this island for the tide in order to get into the city. And of course, with the East India Company, people having been away for years often and then being almost home, right there, you can see it from shore. And then often they would still have to wait for 2, 3, sometimes 4 weeks on board while they were taking all the spices and the pepper and all the other things from board before they could actually be allowed to go on land and actually meet their families again. And so this became an expression to lay before Pampas. Kind of cool. And let's hop over to the finish of Conrad Coleman.
Encore 200 mètres.
À l'avant, à l'avant, à l'avant.
Top pour le relais Sandrine Conrad. Bravo.
Very cool. And Conrad, of course, now the first skipper to make the race not using his engine at all. So, of course, they can't use the engine, to actually propel the boat forward. There's a seal there, so they can't engage the prop shaft. But he actually showed in a video yesterday that he actually has a second seal. That's literally on one of the bands around his engines. So he really literally could not start his engine without breaking that seal. Proof that he's done the entire race now running only on solar energy and hydro energy. Has been proven. So that is actually very, very cool. A big win for Conrad in that sense, proving his concept. Yeah, and so now all we have to do is wait for the actual live stream to start. So we've been enjoying some beautiful drone footage of Jean Le Cam. Maybe let's check out some cool drone time with Conrad also while we wait. There she is, the beautiful Mezzanine. Dutch insurance company, actually. Kind of interesting. Yeah, and so maybe right before we hop onto the live stream, good to say thank you all, Wolves, for following, well, by now, almost the entire race with us. It's been an amazing 3 months. Unfortunately, with all the trouble, I haven't been able to make it to the start yet with all the car troubles and stuff. But I'll get there eventually. We'll do some interviews. The skippers are still going to be with Conrad also at some time, hopefully. That'll be cool. And yeah, look also forward to some amazing content coming on the channel. I can't give any details yet, but we're going to be doing some very cool racing on the channel and checking out some various different classes and stuff. So look forward to that also in the near future as well. And with that, just thank you all very much for following along. There will be a few more finishes, of course, but we're really getting to the last part of the race now. So really glad to have enjoyed it with you all. Thank you very much.
Halfway between the Azores and Portugal, and 700 miles to go until it's up.
A channel for Isabelle Joschke, for Conrad Coleman, for Jean Le Cam, and later on probably Giancarlo Perotti. But Isabelle Joschke came in last night at just after midnight, 28 minutes past midnight French time, 28 minutes past 11 UTC, to complete Vendeeglobe finally. Of course, the last race she had to retire into Salvador de Bahia, and this was Isa crossing the line last night. A big moment for her. Just so disappointed to have got so far in such good shape. Last time she was 10th round at Cape Horn, or in the top turn at Cape Horn, and then suffered mechanical problems with her keel. So a great moment. Really, Isabelle was never sure she was going to come back and race the Vendeeglobe, but she has completed the race last night. So that was last night, and this is Isa just waiting to come into the channel. A minor delay for her as a cargo ship comes out, but she's had her team on board all night. Team led by Alan Gauthier, the winner of the second Vendeeglobe. Franco-German skipper, now 48 years old. It's a nice morning for her just to relax and enjoy the sunrise over the Vendée coast. So there's our time, 85 days, 11 hours, 26 minutes and 36 seconds. Finishing in 19th, just a little bit of ahead of Jean Le Cam. Then Conrad Coleman came in. The crazy Kiwi was only 13 minutes behind Jean Le Cam, taking 21st. But Isabelle Joschke with her damaged foil, we can see there on the starboard side, which has hampered her, compromised her race in the end, but she's such a strong competitor. And there is Alan Gauthier on the bow of MACSF, preparing to come into the channel. It's a slight delay as this cargo ship comes out of the commercial port. And this is Jean Le Cam going through the finish line last night. Came through at, well, actually early this morning, 4:53 French time, 3:53 UTC. Jean Le Cam taking 20th on this new, quite radical David Raison designed boat, which was only launched last year. His answer to the foiling boats. So Jean completing his 5th Vendeeglobe. Started 6 and finished 5. Remember, 2008 he capsized, had to be rescued at close to Cape Horn. But there is that damage that Isabelle Joschke has struggled with, her starboard foil. So as we remember, Isabelle Joschke completed the course last year, or sorry, last edition. She had to retire into Salvador de Bahia, where her team met her and repaired her keel rams, and she was able to carry on and complete the course. But she really struggled mentally with the having to abandon. Was never really sure she would come back, but there she is, full of joy, full of smiles. Really very similar to the boats round about her. Got a little bit stuck in the early part of the race in the light winds down to the Canaries, and was a little bit on the back foot from there. So there's our cargo ship just clearing the entrance to the channel. Just a quick reminder to all of us that Les Sables d'Olonne is a busy commercial port as well as a fishing port. These little cargo ships come and go all the time, but anyway, another beautiful sunny morning, sun not long up. Isa supported by MACSF for the her second Vendeeglobe. Her boat was originally launched as Safran, and then was Generali and Monan was her original sponsors before MACSF came on board. MACSF are a big medical insurance group. So clear to enter the channel is Isabelle Joschke and her team on board MACSF. So in fact, this boat has quite a history. It was one of the original BPLP Verdier designs. Actually put in the water way back in 2007, raced originally as a Safran. And then Jan Elias sailed it to third. Say the guiding light behind the whole project is Alain Gauthier, who's been a long time supporter and mentor to Isa, who herself was started out in the mini class, sailed the mini Transat way back in 2007. And then sailed the Figaro from 2008 to 2015. And that, if I remember rightly, is when Alain really picked up on Isa's potential. And originally had the support of Generali. So a proud moment for him as well. He's a huge supporter of Isabelle and really has put all his energies into this program, supporting her decisions. As I said before, she was never ever sure she wanted to come back after the last race. So another day with four, or certainly potentially four IMOCAs, four skippers, four teams coming into the channel this morning on this morning's tide. MACSF first in at for 8:30, and a big welcome. Well, big welcome is certain for all of them, but huge welcome expected for Jean Le Cam. Conrad Coleman sailed such a solid race. And then we're still waiting for Giancarlo Pedotti.
Yeah. Tu m'as parlé. Comment ça? Ah bah je dirais. Hein. Ouais, je
So the
bah normalement ouais, mais vu que
first of Isabelle Joschke coming into the channel there. Already people out on the channel sides. on the breakwaters. They've been there since, I came into work at 6 this morning, and already people were heading out to spend the morning saluting these skippers as they come in. As it always tells us, and that she feels the cold, and certainly more so on the last race when she was not quite as well prepared. But this time, she learned from the last race. She's wrapped up warmly this morning. And this is a moment that Isabelle Joschke has waited for a long, long time. And it's such a well-deserved welcome. Very, very dedicated and smart sailor. Years in the Figaro class, honed her strategies or strategic skills there. She pushes hard. She's not the biggest and most powerful of female sailors. Very discreet, relatively shy person. So just thanking everyone for turning out this morning. It's still early. And of course she did get a little bit of a welcome last time. A very respectful arrival, although it was, once again, it was COVID times and not so many people out. But this feels completely different for Isabelle Joschke. She has completed the Vendeeglobe. She actually grew up sailing in the lakes in Austria. She was born in Munich. And grew up initially for some of her life in Paris, but started sailing in an Optimist in the family holidays on the Austrian lakes. And then she went to Glenon, the famous French sailing school in Brittany, where she really discovered offshore sailing. She has a classics degree from the Sorbonne. Way back in 2003, Isabelle discovered the Mini Transat. She was in Lorient and saw the little boats preparing to race the Mini Transat, and she got into that. At the age of 27, she bought her first Mini Transat, or Mini 650. And her first race, she finished 46th from 119 boats. It's not quite the fervour that surrounded the finishes of Tanguy, Le Turquet and Benjamin Ferry yesterday. But this is really quite appropriate for Isabelle. Say she's quite discreet. She's quite happy to melt into the shadows a lot of the time, but what a lovely emotions for her. So happy to see her finishing. She has her own program supporting and promoting women in sailing, and Horizon Mixité. And the other little particularity, as they say in French, of Isabelle, race fans will remember that Isabelle took 80 eggs with her, as she did on the last race. So she's been with Alain Gauthier since 2016. And they had a Class 40 Generale Horizon Mixité. And she sailed the Transat Quebec Saint Malo with Alain. They finished in second. It's so lovely to see a skipper succeeding after the disappointment of last time. And as ever, it's just all these final miles that the concerns continue, the stress continues all the way to the finish line. No matter what, it's this special time to come in this early morning light. Yesterday it was Damien Seguin who was blessed with the first channel entry, and this morning it's indefatigable Isabelle Joschke. So you kind of forget how this boat is a much older generation with their retrofitted foils. Remember, on our last race, she was a little bit of a slow starter in terms of the early part of the race, but she really got into it in the south, sailed smartly and fast, and just got herself up to the cusp of the top 10. Isabelle getting the flares out. She's been consistent in the Amoca class since 2017. He did the Transat Jacques Vabre in 2017, finishing 8th. So also massive credit to our sponsors, MACSF, as they continued to support her after the last race, and deserve massive credit. And they too, all their employees, all their clients, all the way through France will be sharing this moment, sharing in the success of Isa. And our boat looks to be in pretty good shape, other than that foil, which has really hampered her. And I'm sure today and the next few days it's only about reflecting on the success of finishing the race. I was never sure she could go on with the damaged foil, but she started off with a sail problem. Only 2 days after the start, she was in 40 knots, and it was off Cape Finisterre. She damaged the sail. She was down in 35th position. And she pulled all the way up to 19th at the doldrums. And really, from pretty much from the end of November, she's been close with John Le Cam, who navigated the Southern Ocean in fairly close company. She finishes just behind, or just ahead of Leroy Jean, just ahead of John Le Cam. They both had a really tough Indian Ocean, as indeed Alan Rura did, who was in the same little quartet in the south. So it was actually on the 29th of December that she broke that port foil, or damaged that port foil. And she also tore her mainsail at the same time. So these are the typical trials and tribulations on this race. And Isabelle has overcome them. Breaking into the top 20. Only a few hours ahead of Jean Le Cam. So kind of inevitable in some respects when you looked at the size of the field. 40 boats, record entry for this 10th edition.
Okay,
It's kind of almost inevitable that you're going to end up with some very, very close finishes, but only 15 minutes separating Benjamin Ferry and Tanguy Le Turquet yesterday. And this morning only 13 between Jean Le Cam and Conrad Coleman. Conrad, as ever, pushing to 110% to the finish, and his will be a significant triumph as he comes into the channel. Remembering 8 years ago, he came in with a broken mast, and completing his race under jury rig. So each of the skippers today, as indeed all the way through the fleet, it's about personal triumph as much as anything. Beating the odds, beating adversity. And here is Jean Le Cam poised and ready to come in. So Sean finishing just over 4 hours behind Isabelle. Came through the line last night in a fairly modest breeze. But there he is, 65 years old. 6 Vendeeglobe starts, 5 finishes. 20 years and I think 2 days to the day since he finished second behind Vincent Rieu. Master craftsman in terms of everything to do with the IMOCAs and racing them. The level of experience shows in his choice of routes. We saw flashes of the potential of this new boat. So too his sister ship to Eric Bellion's. You can see these new curved dagger boards, which give much more lift than the straight boards. They're designed to be a more comfortable boat to race in the Big South with this semi-scow bow. So, and by the looks of things, Italy's Giancarlo Padotti should get in on this tide as well. So, say four boats coming into the channel, we think. In the end, I think Jean Le Cam had to climb the mast 4 times, which at the age of 65 is something very, very impressive. And we're expecting a big weekend with the finishes of Violette d'Orange. Probably Friday, maybe Saturday. 23-year-old, the youngest ever skipper. Jean Le Cam, not quite the oldest skipper by a matter of a year and a bit. Rich Wilson was 66. But Rich still considers Jean the king of the Vendeeglobe. And obviously a huge media interest in King Jean. His arrival is being broadcast, his channel is being broadcast live on French TV. hero of the last Vendeeglobe when he rescued Kevin Escoffier. And he always, those strange twists and turns of the Vendeeglobe in its long history, whereas Jean Le Cam rescued Kevin Escoffier on the last race, and Le Cam was rescued in the 2008 race by Vincent Rieu, whose sponsor PRB was the same sponsor, same long-time sponsor as Kevin Escoffier had. So all these little twists and turns in the long history of the Vendeeglobe make it doubly fascinating. As you can see, Toutes les Monts en Finistère, Jean's programme is backed by the Finistère region of Brittany. Whole group of Finistère companies and the region band together to support Jean. He is the Vendeeglobe icon. Certainly it's been a little bit quieter in this race. I think that's by virtue of the fact the race is so big, but his accomplishment is every bit as meaningful as before. He loves his finishes. He animates them like a youngster. Seems to all of them, in fact, one way or another. And he will hold court at his press conference, I'm quite sure, in a matter of an hour's time or an hour and a half's time. Apologies if anyone was waiting to see. I think we have to stay live with Jean Le Cam due to commitments to French TV. We're waiting to hear Isa on the dock. We may cut back to that, I'm not quite sure, but for the moment the morning seems to belong to Jean Le Cam as well, you might expect. His problems have been with the rig, really, and the hooks. These halyard locks that hold the sails up. And in his case, he lost the J2 forestay. There's this big problem, stay, which partly supports the mast fore and aft. I think it's nice for the skippers to share the channel with each other. On balance, I think more people out onto the channel. Makes a fuller, more interesting and exciting day for all the spectators who come here. Certainly remember that Sean came in the dark last time on the last race. And to his credit, he just He's just fixed in time in terms of his age, I think. Never appears to get any older. And it's about his experience, isn't it? He sails smart in terms of the way he handles the sails, the way he handles the boat. Minimises the effort, goes for high average speeds. I think even so, I think his speed record was 32 knots on this boat.
Je rencontre je regarde le soleil.
Remember, early on in this race, he led. He took that led the easterly option, the more direct route, closest, or just in fact to the east of the rum line from memory. So he was one of the early leaders of the race, but then after the Canaries really struggled in light winds when the trade winds were just not there on that descent down the early part of the Atlantic. But you get a really good view there of the actual shape, this slab-sided, scow-bowed monohull. There we go, just cutting back to Isabelle coming into the pontoon, or on the pontoon. There we go, Alan Gauthier in the foreground. Great partnership. Alan really has been so supportive all the way through since 2017, I think I said, when they met on the Figaro. And Isa took on the Generali sponsorship. You could almost say that she's the exact opposite of Jean Le Cam. She's quiet, diminutive, but sails like a demon. And there we go, Monsieur Leboeuf. President of the region is turning back out again. His deputy did the last finishes yesterday. And Isabelle Joschke then welcomed back into the heart of the marina here in Portelona. Les Sables d'Olonne. She just looks relaxed and happy, which is just the most wonderful thing. John Le Cam just making progress. Much pride. Satisfaction.
Bon, maintenant, c'est moi qui descends ou...
Non, Isabelle, c'est moi qui...
C'est toi qui...
We get the first words from Isabelle. Or she's thanked by the president, Mr. Leboeuf. Even turned down the sunshine for her.
Beaucoup de plaisir pour nous, sachez-le. Allez,
So much pleasure for Rosa. Isa was even coming in last time. It's just awesome to see her succeeding this morning. Succeeding over the last 85 days and 11 hours since she left Les Sables d'Olonne on the start line. That face just shows intense satisfaction. And it's really such a lovely reminder that all the skippers are so different in this race, different ages from 23 to 65, different sizes, different skill sets, different backgrounds. And if you just consider how discreet and gentle Isabelle Joschke is compared to the Guns N' Roses and the AC/DCs, she's just...
Isa, raconte-moi scénario idéal, une lumière géniale pour arriver au sable après un tour du monde enfin bouclé en course.
Bah ouais, c'est vraiment une journée de
Finally
dingue.
finishing the
La
course.
météo est au rendez-vous. C'est magnifique, un lever de soleil comme
The
ça.
beautiful weather and the welcome is just beautiful, just lovely.
Quelle joie d'avoir terminé ce Vendeeglobe, qui n'a pas été facile, pas du tout. Et je crois que
It's not easy, it's been so hard to finish.
Alors raconte-nous cette course parce que
A lot of difficulties on her course.
sportif jusqu'à la casse de ce foil qui a fait basculer dans un autre mode.
Ouais, mais ça a été sportif avant.
So she was going well until till she broke the foil, and then the sporting mode changed to adventure mode.
Les éléments n'ont pas toujours été là pour me propulser là où j'aurais voulu. Et voilà, jusqu'à hier
But
soir.
really, she didn't get the weather early on.
Je crois que j'ai vraiment rien lâché.
She just wants to get up and finish it and get across the line, hold on to her place as best as she could. She's very proud, very pleased to get finished.
Une deuxième fois en revenant pour le boucler en course.
Oh oui, j'ai trouvé,
What did she look for going out in the second time to do the race?
j'avais pas vu.
So many things that she was looking for, and
J'ai vécu une course
To-
totalement différente avec un engagement
it was a totally different
encore
course,
plus fort, contrairement à ce que je pensais, mais une autre façon de
very
traverser,
different to what she
de continuer
expected.
à traverser avec beaucoup plus de plaisir, malgré la difficulté qui était
So she had so
vraiment là.
much more pleasure and so much more enjoyment this
C'est
time.
vraiment une autre étape franchie.
A different stage finish this time.
Merci.
So there we go, Isabelle Joschke, first words on the pontoon.
Ouais.
So here we go then, Le Roi Jean, clack, 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 in the channel. As you might imagine, there's many, many more people on board Duke Camonson Finistère. And his finish is being broadcast live on French TV for his arrival in the channel. Seems to be having one or two minor hiccups with his flares, but I'm quite sure he'll go. But he looks to be in remarkably good shape. He knows what this is all about. He's done it 5 times before.
There we have it, Wolves. Jean Le Cam
Second, a few hours
flaring
behind
into the
Vincent
arena.
Rioux back in I think it was February the 2nd, 20 years ago.
What a legend.
Having had such a battle with Vincent Rioux. Vincent Le Terrible, he called him then. And that was, as far as I remember, that was when he became Le Roi Jean. Mike Golding in that battle at that time was Goldfinger. Mike led the race at different times and was unlucky to have halyard problems after just at Cape Horn. Otherwise, Jean has always been in the top 10. So a very different result, but in a much more competitive race. Strength and depth all the way through the fleet. Second, as I say, in 2002, 2005. Fifth in 2012, 13. Sixth in 2016, 17. And of course, fourth in 2020, 21. Remember, he had 16 hours of recompense of compensated time after rescuing Kevin Escoffier. And many people now would tell you that it's not a Vendeeglobe without, it wouldn't be a Vendeeglobe without Jean Le Cam.
Actually, interesting to know, Wolves, that flares are going to be phased out in Europe over the next few years. They're going to be replaced by very powerful LED lights. So this is very likely also the last Vendeeglobe entrance into this marina here, where we're going to see actual real flares used. So enjoy it, because this might be the last time we get to see this.
What a nice, gentle return back into Les Sables d'Olonne for Jean. I remember well the 2008-2009 race when he capsized. 200 miles from Cape Horn, and he was inside the boat, which was upside down, and was rescued by Vincent Rioux on the 6th of January.
good to see that Le Sable is pulling out all the
firework
stops
display then
to
for
bring Jean in,
Jean
maybe
McCann.
for the last time.
Remember that Jean also did 2 Barcelona World races. Did the 2010 race with Garcia on Ecuador, the old boat of Mike Golden and Chris Maston, the Cape Verde Islands. And then came back in 2014-15 and won with Bernard Schramm. So going live on the water, I think, with the Prismian group, with the Giancarlo Pedotti coming into the finish. Another skipper who is a little bit behind what he would have wanted to achieve on this race. But he's had steering problems since the Pacific. But a really, really tough competitor, super sporty, competes in. Was originally a boxer. Was Giancarlo, got into the mini transat like others. So what a bonus, getting a little bit of a live action coming into the finish line this morning. Giancarlo moving nicely, moving quickly on board Prismian group. Morning breeze filling in for him nicely. He's had steering problems since the Southern Ocean, and he's really struggled to keep control or maintain control. Of course, Giancarlo, it was only 19 hours, 18 and a bit hours behind Charlie Dallin in the last race. And he finished in 8th place. So certainly high expectations this time. Boat's been substantially modified since then with a new bow and these big foils. Certainly improved the speed potential, the all-round performance of his boat, but never quite managed to live up to that same result, to match that result from the last race. Had a fairly solid Transat Jacques Vabre last year, but suffered very, very badly from dehydration and ended up being confined to his bunk for the end of the race. She partnered with Gaston Morvan, who's a co-skipper who we expect to see in the next race. So a second finish for Giancarlo. First Italian to finish the Vendeeglobe and first Italian to finish it twice. Big support at home in Italy. And we're expecting to see a new Italian face, a new Italian boat in the next race with Ambrogio Beccaria, who's been setting the world on fire in the class 40s. However, now belongs to Giancarlo. This is what he's fought for the last 85 days. With his steering problems, it was never clear that he would be able to finish the race. Worked for many days to try and fashion a reliable steering system. Prysmian are his long-time sponsors, been with him since the days in the Mini Transat, a global electrical cable company. Giancarlo now, I think he turned 49 during the race, 40, was 48, 2 kids. Was second in the 2013 Mini Transat, won the Transat Jacques Vabre in the multi-50 class as the co-skipper. With Erwan Leroux on the multi-50 class. So it's all going on then. You could not expect for more in this Vendeeglobe, but Giancarlo Pedotti coming in to finish. Conrad Coleman, the crazy Kiwi, coming into the channel looking relaxed, happy, much less manic than he was 8 years ago. And I think probably as exhausted, or maybe even a little bit more exhausted than last time, considering last time he was under jury rig, but he was so overwhelmed, so delighted to make the finish line. This time it just feels like a win, a victory. He made a few strategic errors that over the course of his race that Conrad, or certainly pushed for slightly different options, shall we say. At different times he followed Le Cam to the east, and they both lost out there. Conrad routed well to the north in the Southern Ocean, just pointing at New Zealand at one point, trying to avoid a big storm. In the meantime, there comes Giancarlo through the finish line in the next few minutes. To take 22nd place. Conrad really, I know, has worked so hard for 8 years, taking to the limits of his finances, really getting to the 11th hour in terms of his program before MS Amlin came in as a minor sponsor initially and have come in to support him, and their support fully vindicated. And Conrad there with the New Zealand flag. Proud Kiwi, also holds an American passport, lived in the States. It's a pretty significant moment in New Zealand ocean racing history as well. They can be proud of Conrad, who's completed his second Vendeeglobe. And his second Vendeeglobe without any fossil fuels. And the aging rock star himself, Monsieur Jean Le Cam. Fantastic just to see him dancing on the bow of his boat, coming into the pontoon. You would expect nothing less from him. What a great welcome. And at the same time, Giancarlo just coming into his finish line. Conrad Coleman in the channel. A totally unprecedented, unique morning on the Vendeeglobe, as you might expect in this record-breaking edition. Biggest ever, the fastest ever, the most international ever. And here you see Italy screen right, New Zealand and America top left, and the iconic French sailor Jean Le Cam. And it's done for Giancarlo. Giancarlo Padotti caresses his boat. A moment to just share with the boat, which has brought him safely round the world for the second time. It's been a battle. He's struggled much more than on his first edition. And so many congratulations to Giancarlo. It's a little bit like, I think, Damien Sagan. I think his battle's been with himself to see how far he could push himself, how he could cope this time with the difficulties, with his technical problems, to repair his the steering system. High expectations coming into the race. As did many skippers to a greater or lesser degree, the same as Le Cam, the same as Conrad Coleman, the same as Isabelle Joschke. All maybe expected to be further up the rankings, further up leaderboard. So Giancarlo comes through the finish line at 8:34.01. UTC 9:34 French time.
Okay.
So Monsieur Bruno Leboeuf,
Okay.
and the mayor of Les Sables d'Olonne, Yannick Moreau, presenting the champagne to Jean Le Cam.
Bon, je vais pas relever du monde.
Vas-y, ouais, vas-y, ce qu'il faut. Mais vas-y, Jean, pas le choix.
It's unique. That. Gracious, does he? He's completely soaked everybody on the pontoon, I'm sure. Meantime, Conrad Coleman with his young family, his wife Clara, and his 2 kids on the foredeck there just behind him. So Brisbane group, Giancarlo, elapsed time 86 days, sorry, 85 days, 20 hours, 32 minutes, 21 days, 3 weeks. 3 weeks behind Charlie Dallan. And there he is reunited with Benjamin Ferry. Fantastic relationship between the two of them. It's wonderful to see. He mentored so many sailors in this fleet, and just tells you a little story of Jean Le Cam, where he didn't drink the champagne, but he loves a bottle of red wine.
C'est la première fois qu'il boit un coup de rouge depuis qu'il est arrivé.
This is the first time I've ever drunk a bottle of red after the finish. I'm sure he had some with him.
Oh purée, ça fait...
One thing he wouldn't compromise on his Vendeeglobe.
Dis donc, à un moment, je me suis dit, est-ce que je suis pas alcoolique? Après, j'ai rien bu pendant 3 mois, puis en fait... je vais en prendre une deuxième. Hein. Jean, reste là.
He said it's the first time, well, it's not really the first time, it's the second.
Qu'est-ce qui t'a traversé la nationale? Enfin un tour du monde qui se termine dans le plaisir et la joie de naviguer pendant tout ce tour du monde. Sans stress. Ah bah là, c'est génial. Là, on a dû arriver à 4h du matin. Ah bah viens Isabelle, viens, monte à bord. Ah non, mais attends.
Just getting Isabelle Joschke on board.
Bon. Bravo Isa. Ah bah ouais. Isa à gauche.
He so respects the successes of the other sailors. So supportive in his own unique way.
Allez, sans alcool. C'est vrai que moi je suis pas parfait. Mais... Bon, raconte-moi alors ce tour du monde sans stress. L'arrivée et puis le plaisir de ne pas avoir le bateau qui se délamine sous tes pieds, quoi. Ah oui, bah non, mais c'est sûr. C'est sûr que là, pour le coup, c'était d'autres soucis qu'il y a 4 ans, c'est ça dont on parle. Ouais, bah, c'est clair que là, le bateau, il est nickel. Bon, à part l'été, là, vous voyez, avec des bricolages et... passer un moment là-haut pour pouvoir réparer. Mais de la joie quand même et du plaisir. Ah bah là, ouais. Bah, surtout à l'arrivée. Hier, on était vraiment juste côte à côte avec, comment il s'appelle, Conrad Colman. Moi, j'étais quand même assez content de pouvoir passer devant. Ce tour du monde avec cette trajectoire dans l'Indien, très nord, tu as été dans le match tout le temps en tête des dériveurs.
He's in the match all the time. He's choice of route with the North and the Indian.
Et après la montée jusqu'à la zone d'exclusion, c'était nickel. Et après, je sais pas, le rideau est tombé. Plusieurs rideaux. Il y en a eu 4
everything was good until he got to the exclusion zone.
Donc c'est vrai que c'était...
Going north of the South Atlantic. After that, the rug was just pulled out from under him.
Les deux Atlantiques, d'ailleurs, l'aller et le retour n'ont pas été des plus...
the Atlantic, both was destructed for him, not easy.
Surtout le retour.
Up and down, out and back.
Ah bah oui. Je suis content aussi que ça se termine. Ça c'est sûr.
Just happy to be finished. Enjoying his red. And his Conrad Coleman coming in behind. But Conrad had many small problems which he overcame. So lovely for his little kids and his wife Clara there to be on the foredeck. You have to say it's ultimately it's a pretty selfish challenge. It's the Vendeeglobe. You have to be so self-centered and so driven, and
Yeah, sorry,
put a lot
Wolves.
of pressure
I hear you on the audio from the
on
Fiji.
families.
Andy is a little bit
And
sketchy, but nothing I can do about that.
Conrad
It's
really
just
has
from the
succeeded
Fiji connection itself.
in the end, getting solid sponsorship. He did so much work to this boat himself and with his small team. The boat has had a very checkered history. Remember, it started out as Group Bell, Tito de Pavon's boat, which had to retire early in his Vendée Then it nearly broke in half as Thomas Riong's Souffle du Nord had to go into New Zealand. And then on the last race, of course, Maxime Sorel brought the boat home in 10th place. It was the first time it finished the Vendeeglobe, but it really had a massive crack across the deck. But Max had repaired. So Conrad is really the one who's made it super reliable. He's animated his race consistently all the way through. Great communicator. And this is the moment that he's worked so hard for pretty much constantly since 8 years ago. Over the last 8 years, he's told us several times about his routine, daily routine, getting up early to work and then making sure he's there for his kids in the morning doing the school run, working in his admin and working at the yard to fix his boat. And there's Conrad coming through the finish line. Just 13 minutes behind Jean Le Cam. Another close finish. And I think Conrad will take as much satisfaction from that as anything. He too maybe hoped to be a little bit closer to Benjamin Ferry and Tanguy Le Turquet. Massive comeback in terms of miles on them. But surrounded in terms of the ranking by really strong, experienced sailors. Jean Le Cam just ahead of him is probably the ultimate benchmark. Giancarlo Pedotti, as we said, had that great 8th in the last race. Isabelle Joschke just in front. He may be 21st, but it's an incredible performance. And I say very much a one-man team. He's got his technical guys round about him, but a very small team, and he's done so much of the work on his boat himself, did all the lamination. He's a sailmaker originally, or spent many years working as a sailmaker, sail repairing in lofts in the UK, and when he originally came to Europe.
S'il n'y a pas le choix.
Those of you keen-eyed sailors watching will notice that I think he's got no engine. Being pulled in by the rib alongside him.
Là, pour l'instant, je suis tout seul, là. Je suis tout seul.
But again, a very, very experienced round the world racer. Conrad did the first global ocean race in the class 40 racing with Sam Goodchild, actually. And in fact, not many people remember that Conrad saved Sam, who went overboard, pretty much saved his life during that race. He did that race. He then went on to do the Barcelona World Race with Nandor Fa. And now has done 2 Vendeeglobes.
Il n'a pas fait encore. Il n'a pas fait
Which
encore.
still at the age of just turned 40 is quite an achievement for round the world races. Conrad actually lost his father, lost his dad at a young age. His dad was a rigger and fell off a rig and lost his life, and I'm sure he'd be super proud of Conrad. And indeed everyone at home in New Zealand, where he comes from originally, can just marvel at what he's achieved in his life so far. He came to Cows originally in 2007. And in fact, he was here in 2008 helping Steve White prepare. So Conrad did the Mini Transat in 2009. And I first met him, they started the route drum in 2010 in class 40. Conrad holds an American passport as well. Spent time in California, I think it was, as when he was studying. Started up a mountain bike business, designing and building bikes. Before he came to Europe and England initially. We'll see a fairly gentle return to the pontoon for Conrad, who's been brought in with the via rib. He's got no engine. So from the start, he had the problem with his desalinator, his water maker, very, very early on in the race. Then he, as we remember, he went east at the Canaries, following Jean Le Cam, very close to the African coast, looked good for him for a while. And in fact, going back, remembering that the start of his race, he had that problem with a line around his propeller, which meant that he didn't have his team off the boat by the required time. So he's actually ended up being late to start. Then it was only 2 days later he had a problem with the desalinator, and he was slowed in the big high pressure. So great to see some people from MS Amlin, the insurance company that support Conrad. Indeed, it was the... Just remembering what else happened in Conrad's race. He had the blackout on the end of November, but he had a long time to make a repair to his electrical system, including big broaches at the time, from what I remember. Went round Cape of Good Hope in 32nd position. Then he was generally pretty solid in the south, kept in the northerly route with Jean Le Cam, with Isabelle Joschke in particular. And then he stayed north towards New Zealand. He was in 27th place at the turn of the year. Pulled back 7 places by the time he got to Cape Horn. And came back on the Brazilian coast, sailing to the east, crossed the equator in 22nd, and got stuck a little bit in the Azores anticyclone. But he got into that group. There's been 8 boats within 100 miles at the Azores High, and finishes in 21st place today. Conrad enjoying his arrival with his kids. I'm sure he'll be glad to be back on land and resume some kind of family life in the next few days, the next few weeks. Very much a dedicated family man is Conrad now. So he's made sure that he's found time, despite his incredible schedule, working into the small hours of every morning, chasing sponsorship for so long. Did the early races with no branding. The boat was called Imagine, and he was imagining this moment and the moment crossing the finish line. That was what it was all about, and he has achieved that. I'm a survivor, I'm going to make it. And indeed he did. Massive credit, massive kudos to Conrad. Blessed with such a beautiful morning, as indeed has been Jean Le Can, as Isabelle Joschke and Giancarlo Pedotti coming in not too far behind. So proud of Conrad. Really, what a welcome, he says.
Ça va, G? Ouais, ça fait du bien, oui. C'est assez original. J'étais tendu comme un arc depuis 80 quelques jours, donc ouais, ça fait du bien.
Been waiting this for a few days.
Merci. Oh, good. Hey, dude. What do you reckon about that?
Awesome. Fucking awesome. And you come back with a big stick on the top.
I know! I know! Ah oui, c'est ça que cerise sur les gâteaux, oui. Hey!
Non, Conrad, on attend qu'il finisse de...
Qu'ils finissent de blablater. Mais on peut blablater en
Ouais. Dans tous les cas, on est heureux de t'accueillir, Conrad. T'as passé un bon, voilà, extraordinaire course quand même.
C'était pas mal celui-là. C'était pas mal. Ouais, bah ça fait du bien, oui.
Ouais, et t'as vu sous quel ciel on t'accueille avec Yannick.
Ouais, ça fait du bien. La lumière ce matin et cette nuit, magnifique. Et du coup, cette bataille et jusqu'au bout avec Jean.
All the way to the finish line with Jean.
Ah, il est le roi pour une raison.
He knows the way home.
Allez, Conrad, ça c'est pour toi. On t'offre, c'est vraiment de tout cœur. Voilà,
merci bien.
Vraiment. Et on est fiers de t'accueillir ici. Ouais. Sache-le. Merci beaucoup des belles histoires que tu nous as racontées.
Merci bien. Merci.
Thank you for your story that you told.
Pourquoi tout le monde s'en va? Vous en avez marre d'être avancé là?
Non, on aime ça.
Bah oui, vous êtes équipés pour. Donc, ouais. Léo, come here. Wow. Ready? On s'entraîne dès le début. Ouais, c'est bien, c'est bien, c'est bien. Ok.
Oh, I love their hats as well, supporting Daddy. There, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, félicitations. Merci bien. Comment ça va le docteur? Ouais? Et toi? Bah En forme. Ouais, en forme. Grâce à toi. Donne-moi.
Non, tout est bon.
Hop, par là-bas. Par là-bas. Quoi? Hop. Ok, pardon. Ok, je suis le mouvement. Je suis là.
Au soleil, on est bien.
Au
Super.
soleil, c'est parfait.
Sur le quoi?
Voilà, parfait. Et alors raconte-nous, voilà, cette course dingue.
Oui, cette course dingue.
It's a crazy, mad course,
En fait,
really hard.
Cette course qui pour moi était marquée un petit peu par un bascule de vent près de la côte. Parce que
So his race was affected by the light wind close to the course.
Donc j'étais
Away
obligé
at the beginning.
de prendre un nouveau départ, un petit peu
So
décalé
had
avec
to
tout le monde, et du coup je pris les départs de
a different start from everyone else.
avec un vent
That really put him on the back
différent
foot.
que tout le monde. Et du coup je
Different world
suis
from
passé
everyone.
de dernière à première.
He passed from last to first a few hours, which is a great memory from.
Longtemps, c'est rare. Dans la vie d'un
It's
navigateur,
very rare.
de prendre le départ de Vendeeglobe, c'est encore plus rare d'être en tête.
It's very rare to go from last to first.
Et ensuite, je parle de cette bascule parce que en revenant, le bascule a joué à nouveau. Parce que avec le
light wind.
sprint, le dernier match race avec Jean Lecam.
He had a bit of a match race with John Lecam at that point. And there was a new game started then.
J'ai vu sur l'AIS que
saw on the AIS.
changer la route pour Jean, et du coup je pensais de pouvoir passer devant à quelques degrés près, oui, mais finalement j'ai tombé en dessous de la ligne d'arrivée, et du coup j'étais obligé de faire 2 virements, et pendant ce temps-là il est passé devant.
Let's talk about the finish.
Incroyable d'avoir un course de 7
so close to the finish. Course of such intensity.
C'est énorme. Avant le départ de course, je me suis dit, c'est pas un course de 30 000 milles, on va décortiquer cette course en centimètres, et je vais me battre pour chaque centimètre.
He said even though it's a course of 30,000 miles, it's really about centimeters here and there.
Mais ça a vraiment pimenté le course, cette notion d'être en contact avec tout le monde.
All these different things that spiced up the course, but the race, contact with everyone all the way around, such a contrast to 2016, and the big contrast is this time. Very happy to master himself and master his course.
Avec le sourire, avec un bateau intact, avec les voiles, tout sont...
Be able to finish with a smile with the boat which is intact.
Je ne vais pas mentir et dire que le bateau est prêt à repartir tout de suite. Je pense qu'une petite période de bichonnage pour moi et le bateau, ce sera pas mal. Mais c'était un course avec plein d'exploits. Chaque fois que ça soufflait fort,
so many different experiences over the race, lots of different things happened.
Je me suis senti capable d'attaquer dans la période où il fallait.
But he was able to attack when the boat was reliable, when he had no problems, he was able to attack.
Et ensuite à nouveau autour des îles Malouines.
So he was able to get till the Falklands.
Ma capacité d'aller vite quand il fallait aller vraiment vite.
After that, was able to go fast and
beaucoup de maturité.
race with lots of maturity, he feels.
Comment maîtriser moi-même et non juste le
He
bateau.
learned how to master himself,
C'est pas
and
juste un course autour du monde, c'est un sacré course qui court entre les deux oreilles.
he's saying that it's what goes on in your head between your 2 ears.
Le voyage que j'en ai fait.
Where you learn, you race against yourself.
Donc je me sens vraiment bien.
Un mot.
So you race against everyone else.
Merci.
Tell us about your feelings.
Yeah.
Here we go in English,
It's
guys.
incredible to be here this morning in Les Sables underneath a beautiful, beautiful sunshine. This race has been the thing that has changed my life. This race brought me here to France. It brought me to Les Sables. It made me the man that I am. And so to have this opportunity to cross the finish line for the second time in my career is something really, really, really special. And the fact that it was a race all the way to the finish line with a legend like Jean is just really the cherry on the cake. It feels really special.
And
Thank you.
the 3 years before were so hard.
Yes, certainly. It took me a long time to create the project, and finally I found myself in good hands with Emma Samlin. It was a real pleasure and an honor to carry the colours all the way around the world, and I'm very proud to have had the opportunity to carry the Emma Samlin community with me and their colours, and to bring back such a beautiful boat at the end. So it's really special. Thank you. Yeah.
Bravo.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Merci de nous raconter une belle histoire comme ça. C'est-à-dire que c'est une histoire humaine aussi.
Certainement.
C'est se battre aussi contre soi-même.
Monsieur Leboeuf saying it's a really human adventure.
Écoute de gasoil aussi.
Ah,
faut qu'on parle.
And of course,
zéro
gasoil, no.
Bravo.
Pour la deuxième fois, je suis la seule et unique personne.
The second time is the only person who's been around the world with no fossil fuels. So that's a pretty special record, and Mr. Leboeuf is appreciating that.
Non, c'est drôlement important. Ça, c'est l'avenir du Vendeeglobe, c'est 2028.
He says that's the future of the Vendeeglobe.
Avant tout le monde. C'est le champion avant tout le monde. Voilà, je veux vraiment
He
le
said
dire.
there's a champion ahead of everyone.
C'est vrai que comme quoi c'est possible.
Ah oui, largement.
C'est possible.
So just proving that like this is possible, proving it's possible.
Ça marche de tonnerre. C'est vraiment bien.
Everything worked really well in terms
Ça a
of
sans
just,
doute contribué à la fait que j'étais zen à bord aussi, parce que
he said it's contributed to the fact that he was so zen on board. No panics about energy at any point in his race.
Et les hydros
aussi, donc c'est des solaires hydro.
Ils ont bien fonctionné aussi.
Hydros and the solar panels.
Voilà, un bel exemple.
Très bien. Merci.
So nice words then from Mr. Leboeuf from El Presidente. Oh.
Ça va, Coco?
Bah oui. Bah oui, ça fait du bien.
Yeah, and Giancarlo seems also ready now at the entrance to the challenge. I guess we got an extra long episode today.
Prismian group arriving into the channel. Our fourth skipper and team to arrive since last night. So it's been a busy time for everyone involved with the Vendeeglobe here. Should get a little bit of a break now for probably 3 days before Girek Soudet comes in. But the next period really does belong to Giancarlo. He's had his ups and downs with his program over the last quadrennial. Made the same kind of changes as Pip Hare did to her boat, changing the bow, putting on these bigger foils. But he too struggled with these light winds to the east. Same pattern as Conrad's, as Jean Le Cam, as Isabelle to a certain extent. Really the race ahead of them ran away. There was no way of getting back into the top half of the fleet at all for any of them. I think as much as anything for Giancarlo, it's nice to come into the finish, cross the finish line and come straight into the channel. There's a certain satisfaction in that. It's nice to decompress out on the water. but it's also nice to just come straight in. Something that I know that Giancarlo's not compromised on is food. He made sure he's took plenty of his favourite Italian food with him. He's always taken time to make sure he eats well. I do apologise. I think I said earlier on that he was the first Italian to finish the Vendeeglobe. Of course he wasn't. Alessandro De Benedetto did previously, but Giancarlo's the first to finish twice. Giancarlo, a real tough competitor. Not having a lot of luck with his flares this morning, no. Asymmetric flares. Nice to see a large number of people have waited for Giancarlo. Obviously, the star of this morning's show is Jean Le Cam, but nonetheless, many respectful visitors and Les Sables people staying to see Giancarlo in. So now the channel belongs to our Italian skipper Giancarlo Pedotti and Prismian Group, his long time supporters. And he's got his flares working. Philosophy graduate, in fact, from Florence originally. Got into the mini transat or the mini class. Another skipper who said he learned so much about himself. Found the biggest challenge was learning to deal with the problems, and indeed compared to his first race, which really everything went right for him. Weather systems, he was sailed really fast, clean race. Very much the reflection of this Vendeeglobe with 4 skippers in yesterday, 4 today. This group of 8 boats within 100 miles has really illuminated this Vendeeglobe. The battle at the front of the fleet is between Charlie Dallin and Johan Richon really characterised the race the front of the fleet, but this group of 8, and in particular the battle between the daggerboard boats, has been every bit as intense as Benjamin Ferry and Tongil in Turkey. You noted yesterday, been a little bit under the radar, but Tongi and Benjamin Ferry sailed less than 20 miles apart for a big part of the race. Tongi lost some miles with some technical problems. So here we go, the red, white and green of Italy, the Italian community from Isabelle turning out to greet Giancarlo. Giancarlo with a very small team on board. Just making the tide is Giancarlo this morning. Another skipper who celebrated his birthday on the racecourse, whose birthday was on the 26th of December, day after Christmas. Born in the 75, so just as they turned. So coming in at reasonable speed is Giancarlo, realising the crowds are really not quite there for him, unfortunately, because of mainly, of course, because of Jean Le Cam. But nonetheless, happy to be finished, happy to have completed his race. And wearing Italian colours. Most international race ever, and different nationalities represented this morning with Isabelle Joschke, of course, German, French, born in Munich, grew up in partly in Austria, lives in France, or projects from France, Kiwi, American Conrad Coleman, an Italian Giancarlo Pedotti. Yeah, sorry, just when I was hesitating there, different information about Giancarlo's birthday, but he was born in 75. So he'll turn 50 this Boxing Day this year. 49 at the moment, 48 at the start. Actually started out as a windsurfer, like a few other Vendeeglobe skippers. And he was a full contact boxer. Raced in the Hobie 16s after giving up windsurfing. Did the mini transat, or the mini class from 2008-2009, the Pogo 2, and he was the Italian champion in the mini class. 2009 he finished 4th in the mini transat. Did a year in the Figaro from 2010-2011. but then returned to the Mini for the 2012 to 2014. One of the actually Giancarlo had one of the first David Raison prototype minis, the Scow. And that's 2013, I think it was, when Prismian joined him. Raced with the Sebastian Joss in 2013, two-handed. And then in 2014, he won 5 different races in the mini class. And in class 40, he had a class 40 in 2014, finishing 10th in the Route de Rhum with Prismian. That was before he moved into the Amoca class. He shared the Multi 50 in 2015 with Erwin Leroux, winning 6 different races over the course of the season, including the Transat Jacques Vabre.
On peut?
Fred.
And this boat was originally Fabrice Amadeo's boat, I think. Sorry, he sailed with Fabrice Amadeo to start with. A nice, quiet, sedate welcome for Giancarlo. I think as much as anything, he'll be glad to be back on land within a few days, a few weeks. He'll be back to his all the different sports that he enjoys. So this boat was originally Jean-Pierre Dic's boat, which finished I think 4th in the Vendeeglobe. No, sorry, 13th the Vendeeglobe 2020-21, the last race.
Faudrait qu'il passe sur sa gauche.
Il va falloir que tu passes sur son bâbord tranquillement. Il va falloir que tu passes tranquillement sur son bâbord. C'est pas pour nous, mais c'est par rapport à la...
Ah, parce qu'on l'accompagne jusqu'au ponton, donc il faut qu'on passe sur le... Ah oui, ouais, super.
Après apparemment on lui cache la vue.
Oui, ouais. Ouais.
So Giancarlo well into the Portalona Marina. So his race this time about 5 days slower than last time. So he finished only 18 or 19 hours behind Charlie Dallin last time round. So overall, this boat is a pretty good record in the Vendeeglobe. It is fourth in the hands of Jean-Pierre Dick, as Saint-Michel the Jean-Pierre Dick in 2012-13, then boat taken on by Giancarlo first. His seventh last time. So passing the race fleet as he comes into the red carpet, the Ponton d'Honneur. Giancarlo, in fact, another skipper whose future is not so well known. Prismian ceasing their involvement, I think, with the project in the near future, which is a shame considering how long he has been with them. So in the end, Giancarlo only finishing 4 hours and 27 minutes behind Conrad Coleman. 21 days and an hour behind the winner of the race, Charlie Dallin. So this frenetic couple of days, we should get a little bit of a break after this. Probably 3 days or so before Gear X Today comes in. nice to see so many skippers on the pontoon and around the race village in the next few days as well. For all of the people who visited, who come to see the finishes. Very different atmosphere to the pre-start period, but nonetheless exciting. And at the moment, blessed with this beautiful weather. His steering problems.
Bon, c'est quoi le protocole là, François?
François, là, il y a Alain Leboeuf qui, dès qu'il a fini les embrassades familiales, il y a Alain Leboeuf qui vient.
Giancarlo with his wife there. Going to come and see us. Never the best moments for Mr. Leboeuf as he goes. But very, very happy to receive you here, to have you back on the dock. Bravo, Giancarlo. Good job, well done. There we go. Oh, fantastic. Well done, Giancarlo. Bravo. Chapeau. Grande. He has the look of a happy man. Can I come off now, he says.
Ah si, reviens sur terre, reviens sur terre.
Back to us, Monsieur Leboeuf. Yes, well done, Giancarlo.
Alors, Giancarlo, raconte-nous. Quelle émotion dans ce chenal. On pensait que tu arriverais plus tard et finalement tu as réussi à passer dans ce trou de souris pour arriver dans cette belle lumière.
Voilà, j'avais vraiment envie. C'était temps. En plus, comme on avait fait à 80 jours, j'avais un pronostic au départ un peu plus optimiste et donc là, effectivement, ça a été un peu...
I was a little bit optimistic at the start, but tell us about the course.
C'était...
I don't know where to start.
Je pense un peu plus compliqué de la précédente parce que
it's a little bit more complicated than the last race.
Les bateaux, ils prennent plus cher.
The boats are so much faster, everything harder, everything.
Je pense comme tout le monde, des soucis techniques, notamment mon safran à un moment donné.
Like everyone else, there's technical problems. There's other problems.
Plusieurs solutions, mais à différents
many different solutions.
casque. Je voyais que ça se déformait et surtout en fait, c'est arrivé dans des conditions, comment dire, un peu compliquées où tu te retrouves que pour remettre les bateaux à plat, tu as besoin de choquer, remettre les safrans au vent dans l'eau. Entre-temps, celui-là, il commence à faire des trucs vraiment bizarres. Et là, tu dis,
all different things happening and trying to do different solutions with the rudder.
Tu sens vraiment que c'est chaud l'histoire. Et ça, c'était en fait...
That's part of the story. That's really the story.
Tous les fois que je
voulais penalized because
que les bateaux commençaient à toucher 30 nœuds, bim, ça sautait.
Couldn't push the boat at 30 knots.
Je me suis dit, bah, ça sert à rien, je ne peux pas lutter contre ça. Si je m'énerve,
could have abandoned.
Pire, parce que
really
peut-être je vais faire
on the edge a lot of the time.
40, 50 000 à fond les ballons et après tout est pété et voilà, je vais rester ici. Du coup, à naviguer avec... parce que ça, à Mini, j'ai déjà fait. Si tu pètes les safrans sous le vent, en fait, après tu dois naviguer complètement choqué pour mettre les safrans au vent et arriver tout doucement comme ça. Sauf que sur un tour du monde, je me suis dit peut-être...
So we had to just fix the rudder and then just go slowly, go gently.
Et donc,
but here we are.
Ouais, des autres petites galères, je pense, comme tout le monde. Quoi.
Other little problems.
Quand même? Oui, un peu. Après,
it took some pleasure, got some pleasure.
L'Indien et le Pacifique, on a eu une météo vraiment pas terrible. On a navigué tout le temps sous les dos des DEP. Donc avec une
terrible weather in the Indian and the Pacific, nothing terrible. Not exceptional, but it was
good. L'Atlantique, ça a été une catastrophe parce que
coming up the Atlantic was catastrophic
en fait, le moment
with
où
very, very
un
lightweight
peu calme,
arms.
que les bateaux accélèrent, ça aurait été vraiment très très peu.
Other boats got away.
Donc à un moment donné,
Just a bit like that.
on sait bien que les Vendeeglobe, c'est un restaurant où tu ne choisis pas ton menu. Tu es servi avec
So the
l'état de la
Vendeeglobe's a
maison,
restaurant, you
et
pick
ça
the
dépend de
menu.
comme Neptune il s'élève, voilà, ton menu est fait.
Depends on
Et t'es
Neptune
rassasié,
and
du coup, pas
how things work
Tu es
out.
rassasié ou pas du coup?
Rassasié, ça veut dire quoi?
Ça veut dire que tu es plein.
Conrad Colman, j'arrive ici. Excusez-moi, je veux juste venir te voir. Giancarlo Vendeeglobe. Ça va? Mon compagnon de...
I love as I said, skippers there. Solidarity.
Bravo mec. Ouais, c'est bien. Bravo. On est là? Ouais. On est là.
So lovely. Just to see the solidarity.
Mais
Again.
Après, on s'est bien tenu les morales, Alan.
c'est long.
Yeah, it's not good for the morale, is it? But really lovely to see these guys.
No, mais... Alors, on ne termine pas les Français?
No.
Ma allora, come dicevo, è stata una regata dove purtroppo l'avaria al timone mi ha penalizzato molto perché non riusciva, diciamo, Luke, che è il dispositivo che lo tiene agganciato nella sede, praticamente la parte sullo scafo sono spanate le viti, non teneva più, ho provato a fare degli incollaggi ma non siamo riusciti a ripararlo e quindi abbiamo fatto più sistemi con paranchi, con lashing e tutto il resto, ma purtroppo quando la barca raggiungeva i 30 nodi saltava. Quindi mi ritrovavo con la barca che partiva in straorza a dover lascare tutte le vele, la randa e la vela di prua per cercare di rimettere il timone a vento, il timone sopravvento diciamo in acqua, far poggiare la barca per andare a rimettere fondamentalmente il timone nella sua sede. In quella fase lì chiaramente il timone si sposta molto violentemente a destra e a sinistra, quindi è lì dove fondamentalmente rischi di rompere tutto e quando a un certo punto lo fai nel Pacifico e in tutte le condizioni diciamo di mare molto formato, vedi la flessione dei pezzi e dici vabbè, qua quanti jolly mi restano? 2, 3 e poi a un certo punto si spacca tutto ed è stato un po' di dispiacere perché diciamo nell'ultimo rush dove sicuramente diciamo se non avessi avuto questo problema sarei potuto riuscire almeno a combattere. Lì a un certo punto mi sono detto vabbè qua se mi ingarello con loro faccio un danno e insomma per tornare a casa è ancora più e quindi a un certo punto credo che il Vendeeglobe sia comunque una regata dove passi rapidamente dalla modalità corsa alla modalità avventura se qualcosa non funziona e quindi questo è qualcosa che uno lo deve accettare perché fa parte della prova. Merci. Bravo. Bon, c'est fini? On n'a pas beaucoup chassé, hein, cette fois-là.
So there we go, big hug from Hubert Lemonnier, our race director.
Jaco, ça va?
And Jacques Carres, the race director last time and assistant race director.
Ça va, Laurent? France, va, grande. Bravo. Ça va, Laurent?
Ça va bien?
Bien et toi?
Bien.
Va, ça fait plaisir de te voir.
Ouais, moi aussi. Écoute, bravo.
Ah, ça va? Bonjour. Merci. Franci, super forma, sei sempre più magro, eh?
No. Sono sempre... Tu sei forma.
Ça va? Ça va. Luis, dame un abrazo. Y si no era para ti, estamos todavía en el punto Nemo, joder, con este punto. Por lo menos ya está hecho. Qué cagada esta. Bueno, mira, ahí está. Sí, sí. La cosa que me dio risa fue un vídeo de Justin que tiene el mismo problema y dice, en 15 minutos está arreglado.
Bueno, 4 horitas tampoco es mucho, joder.
No, hemos pasado mucho. Una hora nada más para encontrar.
Sí. Desde las 5 de la tarde hasta las 3 de la mañana. Hora local. Enhorabuena, Giancarlo.
Joder. Jordan, allora, hai pescato tutti i pesci dell'Atlantico?
Sì, bravo.
Com'è andata? A posto? Bravo. Chi è? Ci sono.
Bravo.
Eric, viens à me dire bonjour quand même. Alors, ça va mon grand? Ciao!
Bravo.
Come stai?
Bravissimo. Bravissimo.
On va monter sur scène, Giancarlo.
Ok.
On y va.
Donc là, c'est quoi?
Récupérer les cannes du skipper.
Attends, mais Stéphane, ok.
C'est bon pour toi. Et on va tout de la salle, on va récupérer.
Questi ragazzi non sono. Questi sacchi.
So Giancarlo with his kids.
Merci. Bon,
Il est revenu,
So that's their podcast for the morning. We've seen 4 skippers coming into the channel. A little bit of a break now for 2 or 3 days as we wait for DX today. But thank you so much for joining us. What a great morning. What a great couple of days on this 10th edition of the Vendeeglobe. Do follow the social media channels. Keep you up to date with what's happening and when our next podcast will be. Giancarlo heading for the
Ça va Antoine?
public stage. Isabelle Joschke. So I say thank you so much for joining us. A lovely morning here in Vendeeglobe.
Merci. Merci, merci, merci.